Hi, I'm Shauna Bender of Sense Mindful Integration, and I'm here to talk to you about caramelized onions. So it may not seem like caramelized onions have anything to do with the sensory system, but when I was going through the training to become a trauma-informed care trainer, the person who was doing the training talked a lot about sensory tools that you can use to help support children who are triggered. She didn't really talk about why you use those tools. She didn't really talk about what we were doing when you use those tools. She was mostly coming from a psychology perspective, which was totally appropriate. But because I had already taken training in sensory processing and had already been developing my own sensory literacy, I really wanted her to talk about why it was important to share those tools, what those tools were doing to help children, because there was so much more information there that they could go into. I understand why they didn't do it, and I'm not trying to fault my trainer at all. But all of my trainings are based off of sensory literacy, and here's why. Because if you ask me for a recipe for caramelized onions, I could give you that recipe for caramelized onions, and there would be limited things that you could do with that information. However, if I explained to you that some foods have sugars available in a certain way so that when you cook them, it does this thing called caramelization that makes it sweet and provides this really specific, lovely flavor quality, then you would have information that you could use in a much more broad sense than if I just gave you a simple recipe using caramelized onions. It would give you so much more information. That's really what sensory literacy is. It gives you the background. I'm not going into all of the specific science. There's a lot of science there, and we're not going into all of the science. But having a basic sense of sensory literacy and checking in with our own senses gives us tools to be able to model better behavior for the students in our classroom. It gives us the ability to meet children where they are and support them in a much deeper and more meaningful way. It has so many different applications, and so that's how I equate sensory literacy with caramelized onions, because it gives you a much broader, deeper, more flavorful approach to classroom management and working with your students and supporting your students. So thank you so much. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments. I love questions. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to learn more, I have a link in the comments for my sensory literacy starter kit. Thank you so much, and remember to mind your senses.